Greetings, everyone. Tommy Hawksblood here, calling from the Big Island of Hawaii with my co-host Tina Bird. Greetings, Tina. How are you today?
Hello, Tommy. I'm fine. I'm just having a hot flush as we speak, but days have been better, but getting there slowly.
Before we get into the show, I just want to say Tina's been with me over about 3 years now, and she has serious problems. We prove that she's radioactive every show we do, and what she's going through, nobody should be going through them all at the same time, and in the period of time that she has. But I'll let her just say how she's doing right now, the effects of radiation. I mean, all the things she has are slight effects. I mean, it's not just one thing, but she's trying to move forward, which I give her credit because she's the main speaker we need out there about abductions, and that's why I'm doing this show. All right, people need to know the truth. We don't need to hear stories over and over about good trips and good aliens and good this and good that. Look at the world. If there were any good aliens, it might help us, would make the world better, which they're not. All right, you want to talk about that or not, Tina? It's up to you.
So, people don't realise when you're abducted, you have severe health problems, and they don't go away; they just get worse the older you get. So which is why I'm on every week, and I will say this every week. More should be done for people that are abducted. The government should be doing more. I've still got bills to pay. I've still got to go to work, and all this is because of something that someone else has done to me. So in this, people are victims, but it's not about that. It's about overcoming it and going forward. We all deserve a little bit of help now and then, but when it's one thing after another and it's constant and it's extremely painful. So people don't seem to realise that. And when they keep finding different things within your body, or you have this, or you have that, and that's not supposed to be there, or that's very rare, but you have it, but they don't know how to deal with it, or they're not going to do anything about it because they don't know, or they don't have the resources to do it. Why does that leave? That leaves abductees again with nowhere. It's just another kick in the teeth with nowhere to go and no one to help them. So recently, I've been diagnosed with everything from they want to test for brain cancer to bowel cancer to putting on weight loss, measure my heartbeat, my pulse rate, try me on different medications, got scans, now I'm falling down, as you know, I've broken, not did I broke my foot, I snapped my bones in my foot. So it's having other problems as well as going deaf in one ear now, having ruptured eardrums, perforated eardrums, just waking up with it, anything could cause it apparently. But it's just one thing after another, and it's extremely painful, time-consuming. I don't get paid for being off work. You just get statutory sick pay here in the UK. So, it does have a financial knock-on effect. And because I'm not of retirement age yet, I've got a fair few years to go. I was stuck just like everyone else in the UK. So more needs to be done, I think. More should be done. It's not just... It's these things, they are real, they are happening, and the government needs to take accountability. If you are not protecting your citizens, which is what we are paying you for, then what's the point in paying taxes? You can find £5 million a day to house illegal migrants. The UN chooses to use tents. Why can't you spend just £5 million or £1 million on tents? You can't spend a little bit more on the air budget, or just to get someone to check a radar or send a plane up. To make sure everything's okay. When you can't protect your tax-paying British citizens of this country, then there's no real hope, is there? So, where does that leave anybody in any tax-paying country? We are supposed to be protected from all foreign invaders, both foreign and domestic, and at the moment that's not happening on either front, on any account, to anyone here in the UK. So... Yeah, there is. It is not. I can't say it's bittersweet, but it's not fair. Although fair is when someone's getting their own way and someone's not, or it sounds about right. But when you ask people to give up lives for war, we can fight for other countries, but we can't fight for ourselves. When has it been illegal to fight for ourselves, speak up for ourselves, and come forward? They encourage people to do this all the time, and when you do, there's nothing there to greet you, Tommy.
Tina, I'm so sad because, you're so right about that. We the people are not we the people. We're the losers. We're the victims of a governments from around the world that don't care about us. They care about their money, their family, but they sure don't care about anybody else's. Uh, Tina should be getting a lot of help from the medical department, which she isn't, other than telling her that she's sick. I mean, we need real help, and that's why I'm doing the show, and that's why I'm talking about it today. I want anybody out there that watches this show, sees this show, knows anybody that actually was abducted, please have them text me, call me, whatever. I want to bring people that are willing to talk about it and explain. These people suffer all their lives and nobody cares. The UFO world doesn't even care about abductees. They're trying to make it sound beautiful. Oh, let's bring experiences in it. Oh, it was a great trip and it was great. Nobody has a great trip when they're on a UFO. Nobody. Okay, what they brainwashed and programmed to do. I mean, there's many people in the UFO world famous that say they were on a ship and it was great. Like, I'm not going to say all their names. It's just people out there. I'm not going to go through all the list. But they claim that it was good. They saw this. They were showing this. And no, it's not that good. And even if a person gets helped by an alien, all right, it's not because they're going to help them the rest of their life. They want to win them over and
I
program them.
haven't heard any stories, any accounts of an alien coming down and helping anybody.
Well, when I was lecturing, I lectured for about 6 years. And I got to be around really top people in the UFO world. In 96 to 99, there was a lot of incredible UFO people out there in the speaking world. They're all gone. The few people that are remain, like Stephen Greer, we'll talk about later, but the people that weren't famous then are suddenly super famous now. When Sergeant 18 and I worked and gone to conferences all over the United States, showing pictures of UFOs and everything, the people were amazed there, but it didn't become big. People didn't care. When I did a show about 3 years ago on Kerry Cassidy for 9 months with Sergio 18, maybe 4 years ago, sorry. And we showed 5 new pictures of UFOs every week that we shot. We had about 1,000 people pulled up our show the next morning. We had 50 people in the chat room every time we did the show, but it never went further than that. And then to top it off, at the end of it, we had a fight, and he sold out to the government. And it's like everything we did is off the internet now. We did a TV show. I have a preview of that, which I downloaded, but he had that removed somehow as well. So when the government wants to cover up things, they erase everything. And I'm not going to go into that in detail. But Larry Warren, who put out Left at East Gate, I met him right before he put his book out. He was put in a room with aliens by the Army, all right? And he said, I have no clue why they did that to me. But he went to his mother, called his mother up, and then he was thrown out of the Army. He was unknown for 10 years. He couldn't get his Social Security. He couldn't get proof of who he was. He even tried to go back in the Army. He said, I got nowhere to go. I can't do anything. Finally, he got his book out. A couple years later, the person that helped him do the book is saying he's a liar and all this stuff. People get paid off in the UFO world when incredibly in numbers and amounts or removed. I mean, people don't understand that. And then at the conference, they actually said, the people there said, we don't take people out. We don't remove people. Oh, really? Maybe he doesn't, but certain people do in the UFO world. I can name 16 of my best friends and good friends that have disappeared and are gone. And we got the ones in the nut house. We got ones in jail. All right, people, they don't let what they don't want out. And if Stephen Greer is out there mainstream, obviously they want him to say whatever he's saying. Talk to aliens. Really? That's all we need in our lives. We can't talk to God. We can't talk to angels. Why should we even talk to aliens? If nobody's going to help us, let's rely on ourselves because there is nothing else out there. All right, people. UFO abductees are becoming not as popular as a word. And they're pushing the experiences on people. And these people are paying big money. I was going to go to the conference in November. I wanted to get to see these people right up front and talk to their face. I mean, I email them and ask them, I say, grow a pair of balls and talk to me, and they won't. They're all afraid of me. I mean, my history is incredible, and it's not good. I mean, I was a high priest. I was doing exorcisms. I did all those things. I was doing psychic implant removals. I was doing past life regressions. I did all that, people, and it's all real. And what happens to people is real. And then we got all these doctors and scientists. They can't admit it. You know why they don't want to admit it? Because then they'd have to pay medical bills and expenses for people like this. And they don't even want to admit how many people there are now. I know personally, every day I can go out and talk to somebody, and one person during the day will say they saw a ship, and then maybe 1 out of 20 will say they actually saw an alien, and things like that. So it's large numbers. It's not like 1 or 2%. It's in a certain area, like in Hawaii. I'd say at least 10% saw a UFO. At least, maybe a lot more. Never mind being next to a ship. A friend of mine here, my partner's friend, uh, died. But he said he tried calling me. He was watching a ship over the nuclear reactor. Well, it's not a nuclear reactor. It's what a geothermal plant. And there was a ship over there shooting beams into it. And he said he tried calling me at 3 o'clock in the morning. His phone wouldn't work, but his whole family stood there watching it. 2 months later, he was dead. All right. So, people, it's not like he went public with that. He only told me. Not that I wasn't talking about it online or nothing like that. So it wasn't like they came to me to go after him. But the government does watch me. They don't take me out. I don't know why. I'm kind of glad in a way. I mean, but I tell the truth. I'm not lying about anything. The government's doing what they're supposed to do. The Army, the Navy, the Marines, they all do what they're supposed to do. All right? Protect the rich people. That's it. Build underground cities for the rich people. Everything for the rich people. They control the whole universe. I'm sure they bribe the aliens off too. I'm just joking about that part. But again, we're controlled no matter what country you're in. I mean, there's a few countries isolated that probably are living in a more balanced state because they're not dealing with government problems, they're not dealing with money problems, and they're not dealing with people robbing and stealing on the streets. But then again, places like California is a disaster now. When you look at these other countries, the war, the flooding, I mean, every week now you see a disaster and 700 people died, 1,000 people
Look, the
died.
end of days is here, isn't it?
What was that?
It's like the end of days is here from biblical times.
Somebody said something about that, and I said, well, read Revelations again. They said, oh, they decoded it. It's written pretty easy to understand. Revelation doesn't have to be decoded. The 7 signs, if you read them, we are exactly in the 7 signs. All right. The movie that came out, if you don't know what the 7 signs are, watch the movie at least. It explains it and shows it. And it's what's really happening, people. So we are there. I mean, when he talks about the dead and the, what do you call it? Psychics, the voodoo psychics. I can't even think of the right word, but the psychics that are coming out trying to control people and all that. It's all here right now. The living dead. I mean, we're walking in it. And people don't want to look at the truth. They rather go do drugs. Why do you think people do drugs? Why do you think people, I'm not people that are in pain. I'm talking about people that just can't deal with life. Have to go home and drink every night. Have to go do drugs every day. Why? Why? Because we created a society that's dying. Our food's toxic. Our air's toxic. Our water's toxic. And our thinking is pretty well destroyed. Morals do not exist. When I was young, I believed in morals. There was a magazine that came out, Morals. But that's gone. People don't have morals. I don't think children even know what the word means. The only thing that children might be programmed to say is, I should not steal and not lie. Outside of that, morals, who knows what morals are? About beating people up, punching, fighting, doing all this kind of thing.
It's been very worse here in the UK. There's
It's,
been fights, arrests, stabbings, shootings, murder. It's been absolutely awful, horrendous. And a lot of that is down to refugees and migrants crisis and mingling of people that don't get on. I mean, yesterday, was it 11,000 people turned up on an island or better part of Italy? That's ridiculous.
A man down the road about a block away from my house, a friend of mine, was beat up by 5 guys. He has no clue why. They didn't take anything. Now, a week later, my other friend, who said he was up at Ace Hardware, and some guy came over and jumped on him, broke his ribs and everything, was in the hospital for a week.
We're becoming a lawless society, I'm afraid. It is coming to that. You can shut that door.
back in New York City, they're trying to put robots in the street. I don't know. Can you sue a robot? I mean, what's their excuse that they can go after the people that made the robot? But again, Jersey, I talked to my cousin there, and they said there's no cops anywhere. Crime's happening everywhere. The cops don't show up. You don't see cops anywhere. Here where I am, I see cops driving around my block every day, every other night. I call the ghettos of Hawaii. The most crime goes on within a couple square circles where I live. All right. I mean,
Which
I'm
is
only
about
about
resources. It's not about people say, oh, people are racist and they don't want to take it. I said, there's no resource. People in Britain, I get this, there's a part of England up north, they're putting people and housing people in containers, in storage containers, right? The British public, taxpaying citizens, and yet you're getting people coming here illegally from another country being put up and fed in 5-star hotels. How was that? There's no food, there's no resources in that area. There's no jobs. If they've got no jobs, there's no housing, there's no food. The prices are so expensive here in the UK, and they're putting our people in containers and you're housing illegal people, and they wonder why there's riots.
I can't go into what happened on Maui in detail. I'll lose my show right away. But the facts are there. You want to know what happened? Look at all the facts that were released, not what the prime news says, because they don't talk about what's really going on behind it. The videos that were put out by people walking around in Lahaina, all right? Horrible things, incredibly weird things, not based on a fire. So people want to help us. No, nobody wants to help Hawaii because the government wants that land, and there's a lot of things going on. But people, right before your eyes, you're going to see destruction everywhere, and it's not going to be credited to what's really doing it. The directed energy beams came from a technology that we didn't have. So guess who gave it to them? Who gave him the HARP system? Who gave him the time travel abilities? Not somebody from high school or college. People. Tesla wasn't a genius. Neither was Einstein. Einstein was smart, but again, he stole a lot of information from other countries, and he worked with an alien race. And Tesla worked with a race directly. And I know where he was when he was doing it. I have actual proof. I had proof. I mean, it wasn't mine, but I read him talking about the race that he was working with. And it's the most important UFO story in the United States that nobody can talk about. I might do a show on it one day. I'll probably lose my show if I do it, but it's based on what happened, what Tesla helped create in Montague, New Jersey. And that's where Sergeant 18 and I did all our UFO work. We filmed ships, creatures, entities. It was really crazy there. But the signs around it said, if you get caught on this property, you will be shot. All right? And there was an underground base. We went up to the mountains, and there was steel plates in the mountain and stuff. We couldn't get in. We tried every which way. But somehow they get in, I guess, through some underground space. And he was psychic, and he said, we have to get in there. And we tried and tried and tried, never could. But people, what's going on is going right in front of you, and you have no clue. You're not willing to defend or fight for what we deserve, our freedom, our rights. I mean, even Musk that took Twitter over, I write him 5 letters a day. All right, because he says, what would you do if I gave you $69 million? I said, I wouldn't need $69 million. I need $1 million, and I can do everything I need to do. But every day he puts questions in, and I answer them. So I put my link on as well for this show, because he's talking about, can I save the world? Really? What are you going to do to make the world better? I said, people have to respect people before we can do anything further than that. If as a world we can't be friendly with each other, how are we going to be friendly with any alien race, people? We hate each other, but an alien comes down, we're all going to love them? Seriously? You think we're going to get along with any race that comes here that voluntarily comes out and says, hey, we want to help you? Watch the movie V. I keep saying that. It's based on what happens when people believe aliens are coming to help us. It won't ever happen, people. People that think they have this great experience, what do they have to show for it? What changed in their life? Except, I said this 2 days ago, that when people get abducted, in general, when they call experiences, they become spiritual the next year and write books on healing and I'm a spiritual being and all these bizarre statements they come out with. and then they get a famous. Well, oh, this guy was abducted. He wrote this book, and now he's spiritual. Really, even Travis Walton. All right, he has no clue what really went down. But then we got the alien hunter who goes around with this big wax hand and goes, "Oh, this is a healing hand." Oh, he was supposed to talk to me about 3 times about that. All right, so it's. I'll let you answer that question in a second. But people take whatever they can get and exaggerate. I had everything you could possibly want or not want in my life. Am I going to brag about that? No, I'm bragging about what's happening to the poor planet and to the people that get abducted. Not the rich people. They got their own world, own universe, and live their own way. We can't live that way. All right, we're put in the ghettos. We have to make the money and pay for all their things. Somebody asked you a question, Tina.
Oh, my leg is I'm gonna put my I've got one of these. If I can put my leg up that high. Oh, jeez, I've got one of these.
Don't hurt yourself. Oh man.
Okay.
Oh, that looks horrible.
It hurts like hell. I went back, had 3 more X-rays on it. They took the temporary cast off, and they said it's not healing. He said, so imagine a place on your foot where you could have the worst break possible, and that's where you've got yours. Not only is it a break, you've snapped the bone, and it's right next to the artery in my foot. He said, so they can't drill and put pins in if it's not healing. So I'm on 4,000 units of vitamin D every day for the next 3 weeks until I go back and see him. So once I go back and see him, they're going to let me know to see whether I can have pins in or not.
How much pain are you in, Tina?
A lot of pain. I'm on 20. I'm on 20. Well, I've just gone up to 26 tablets a day I take now.
Holy smokes, Tina.
It's from my different conditions, and I don't like taking medicine. It's more of a have to than want to.
People.
And I'm quite see, I'm not crazy. I'm not nutty. And I'm not.
1 second, Tina. For all those people that want to get on a ship, listen to Tina's story. You might change your mind, but Tina, my partner's pretty sick and disabled, and she can't do anything for her pain. The government spends millions and billions of dollars on everything else, and they make trillions of dollars on drugs, but they don't make a drug that helps people really with pain. Why is that? Yeah. The only one is the highest cocaine, heroin. I mean, those kind of drugs. But then we got Oxycontin, all right, which is the most restricted drug. And older people are being forced to get off of it or cut down. People that are dying, people that are in pain, don't care about living. They just want to stop the pain. Yeah. Well, let's limit their pain medicine. Really? Let them suffer more. It's so pathetic. And I guarantee you could talk to 100 people that are in extreme pain and can't get their medicine, say they don't want to live. You get in bed. You can't move. You can't get out. You can't do this. You're in pain all night. You can't sleep.
I've been there once or twice. The pain has been over my life. There's not a lot of pain that I haven't suffered. I'm telling you, I can tell you a lot about pain. Believe you me.
And I mean, when you're abducted, it's different. Whatever they do, and you can't move and you can't scream.
They only numb you up. You have the lifetime of pain after they've taken you. People don't seem to realise that. So when you're abducted and they take you and sedate you there and then, that's for their benefit. So you can't get up, kill them, grab the little buggers and stab them and give them a bit of their own treatment. But when they bring you back, when you start vomiting blood, when you start having ectopic pregnancies, when you start having stomach ulcers, when you can't go to the toilet for 5 to 11 days, when you go blind and you can't see temporarily, when you're bleeding out your ears, when you're bleeding out your nose, when your teeth dissolve in your mouth, when you have severe headaches, and your babies die, and your body attacks itself, and you have to have a hysterectomy and other organs out, and you have my pelvis is completely obliterated with thousands of holes. They've even said that they've got scans of it. They visually saw it when they cut me open. 267 stitches in a 3-layer cut, 22 staples and a drain, and then they tell you you're going to be in pain every single day of your life, give you no painkillers, and say your pelvis is completely obliterated. Well, what happens to your pelvis when you get older? It deteriorates, it dissolves, and it gets full of arthritis. What do you think's happening to me now? I live with that every day. I've still got to go to work. No one's paying for my pain medication.
It's sad. Not that we're going to be able to do much, but while I'm here, I put the truth out the best I can. Tina's dealing with this and still going full force, full ahead, trying to promote what happened to her, which she needs to do. She's one of the few people that have more proof, more evidence, more effects from it because she was really abducted. If you have a bad dream and come out and tell a story about being abducted, so what? You go home and live your life normally. She cannot live normal, people. People that get truly abducted.
And they have a life. They go on and have a life. Because of what's happened to me, I've never really had a life. That's been taken from me. For me to have a family future, I'm never going to be a grandmother. I'm never going to be able to have children now. All that, and it takes your confidence. It takes your who do you trust. It profoundly changes who you are as a human being. It takes that from you. Nobody's ever going to give me that back. And no one's changing this aspect of it for future
You know,
generations.
the word missing time has disappeared from the UFO world greatly. Uh, I can talk to a person and say, well, you ever have missing time in your life? Oh, well, I did. I was doing this. Oh, yeah, I did that. It just comes and goes. And that's the way aliens want it. That's the way the government wants it. If everybody could remember even the idea that they had missing time, they would be able to go to a hypnotist or somebody. And again, I don't say go to any hypnotist because there's many hypnotists out for the money. The one famous guy, he's on my site. I wrote him a couple letters. He claimed he did more hypnosis sessions than anybody else in the world. Claimed he could heal anybody of any problems and all this stuff. He looks like, I won't even say what he looks like, but he's a liar and he's deceitful and he brainwashes people and he thinks he can help people. Really, you know, life is hard enough. Just living life without having aliens interfere with your life. And the government's not doing a thing about it. And they can't talk about it. I mean, so in a couple years, the world's going to know that UFOs are flying over us. Then what? Are they going to finally ask a question? Who's driving the ship? It came from somewhere else. Maybe they'll get a little closer to the idea that there's aliens playing in those ships
I
and
mean,
playing
Luis
with us.
Elizondo even come out and said, and he was the head of ATIP, turned around and said, disclosure's already happened. What people waiting for?
Well,
You got
well,
abducted saying the same thing.
you want to be on when he comes on, don't you?
Oh yeah, I'd love to. I was supposed to meet him this year and he pulled out of it. Yeah.
I hope I can schedule a time that he'll agree with that you can be on. Because I don't know, he canceled the coming to your country to do the seminar, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, but he did say he'd come on. So we'll see. I don't want to push it. I just want to, when I feel that it's probably soon, if I can set
We
it
give
up.
him a list of questions we're going to ask him. What does he think about abductees? What does the military do about this? How are they going to compensate them? What is the way forward? Duty of
Well,
care, support.
he said he left the government because they won't let him talk about certain things, right? So, and he still says I can't talk about it. So, is there a problem there? There is, and I want to ask him what his problem is. But we'll see if we can get him on. But people, he's considered probably one of the highest speakers in the UFO world right now. He got all the publicity with the Tic Tac and all that and everything else. But when these other people came out, everybody goes to the new people. Oh, they're this or that. When Corey Good came out and his friend came out with him and all that, the story was different.
I'm
They
just going to
like
close my door.
entertainment.
It's banging. It won't be a second.
People love entertainment. Uh, Good, bad, or indifferent. The worse it is, the more violent it is. I think the more they like it. So, in our story, we can only talk about what she knows and what I know. I mean, I can't say I know everything about abduction, everything about what's going on. I know more than 99% of the people in the UFO world speaking out there, that's for sure. I was next to an alien, I was next to a ship. I was doing, helping people that were abducted and lost their children and things like that years ago. I'm talking about in the 70s, and nobody even knew what that was or meant or believed in it. So, this has been all my life. Not like people. like Stephen Greer and people that move in and try to say, well, we're going to do this and that and take credit for it. Like Tina will say, disclosure happened a long
Yeah.
time ago. All right. Just because you weren't invited doesn't mean it didn't happen. And somebody just wrote me a letter a little while ago today. Well, you don't know Stephen Greer. He was abducted. Yeah, and they took his brain. That's what they did. Uh, but again, he looks like he's a creature anyway. I never saw anybody as ugly as looking as he is. I hate to say that, but that's true. Look at his face. Look at his details in his eyes. Look at him, really. See if you think he's normal. People that get abducted and reprogrammed are very bad people. Luckily, Teen is not reprogrammed. All right, she knows what happened. She's not saying it's good or like Stephen Greer. They're good. Aliens are good. There's no bad aliens. They're here to help us, and we need to communicate with them.
Aliens may be good. I'm not disputing that. But the effects of being with them and them torturing you, that's not a good thing. Them taking you under the guise of night, that's not a good thing. How is that a positive, friendly act? It's not.
Uh, I don't know his first name, Mr. White. Oh, I think that's his name. He worked with the tall whites on the government property on Area 53 or 54, whichever one it was, with the tall whites. We can't go near them. We die if we go near them. He got close and he almost died and everything else. But the reason why he was able to communicate with them, he was doing weather balloon testing for the government. And then the little kids, alien kids, came out to watch and stuff. And that's how he made friends with them. But in general, aliens aren't here to make friends with us. They're not here to play with us
I'm
in the
sure
way we
Philip
perceive it.
Schreiber will agree with you on that, but he can't say that because he's dead at the moment. And look what happened to him when he didn't count them. He melted half of his body.
You know, poor Phil Snyder. His story is the second most important story in the UFO world. Nobody else is as important as his is because it shows what happened, what went down, and what's really going on. And oh, we can't let that out. But suicide, you know, they could at least wait. They could at least make it look like a real suicide. You
I
don't
mean,
wrap yourself in You don't wrap yourself in barbed wire to say I committed suicide. All right, that's ridiculous. And there was no blood there either. All right, how did he die? So people, look at the facts. When John Ford in Long Island was arrested, they said he had a barrel of uranium. Impossible. Nobody, the government doesn't have a barrel of uranium sitting around and everything else. A guy, where would he pick it up? How would he get it to his house? And how could he keep it there without dying? All right. Never mind putting in toothpaste in Congress and all that. Ridiculous. And they put that all over TV on New York and New Jersey, and the story disappeared. The same as 9/11. Nobody looks for the truth. They settle for the junk that comes out.
have you just realised something you just said to me? Everything you've just said has one thing in common. All the human beings that have suffered. It's us that suffer from all this. Is every single, like normal, like you just said, every single normal run-of-the-mill person, tax-paying person, civic person doing their duty gets affected. All the poor people that lose their life or suffering. I mean, if we can't communicate with another species, and that's not like, oh, the little green men, if these things are what they say they are, then they're another species. If they don't want to have communication with us, then why come to our world? And if they do live on our world, then perhaps we should be having communication with them if they live underneath the seas. Surely, if they're taking people and doing this, there should be a few ground rules. Why is that? Why are they not just? Why they want to make such a big deal of the spectacle? Saying, oh no, they don't exist from another planet. You know, they're finding new life in all this all the time. Why, that thing, they're just taking it way too far. They need to bring it down a couple of notches and look at realistically what
Tina,
is happening.
something really weird. In the past, I'd say about 2 months, everything's being found. They found an artifact of a creature 40 million years older than the dinosaur last week. 40 million years older than a dinosaur. How do you prove that? But again, within the past 3 weeks, they found two different life forms in two different countries. All right?
It's a
Dead,
drip
but
drip
they
feed.
found them.
It's a drip drip feed for what's coming.
It's a shadow of what's going to fall down, break apart, and expose our reality, which mankind, oh, well, aliens aren't going to help us until we're ready. we're ready to die. You think they'd be ready to help us? People, all your programmed ideas about aliens are wrong. All your ideas of them being good are wrong. Why don't you listen to my show? Send it to people that want the truth, but nobody wants the truth. They rather pay somebody a couple $1,000 to sit in a room with a bunch of people and listen to how good aliens are, how we need to clone ourselves with them, and how we need to do this and do that. Well, you are what you are. When you die, you are that. You don't need aliens around you. You don't need anything around you. You should face who and what you are and deal with that. Don't expect to go into space and go to another city. What are you going to do in another city? What are you going to eat? You think on other planets and all these creatures and entities, they have cow farms and chicken farms and slaughterhouses and things like that for you to eat? Think about it. I know greys do not eat solid food. They put humans in a vat, change them into a liquid, and suck it through their pores. I saw videos of it, a real video of that as well. When they abduct cattle, it's for a reason. Linda Moulton Howe has been involved with that for 40 years, and she has no clue. All right? They have to stick, uh, they've been abducting that. Now, aliens have been abducting cows, and so has the government.
So what? So
Wait,
what people do?
wait, they're cloning grays, all right? The United States government. They have to have a vat, which is the stomach of a cow, and it's filled with blood, and that's how they clone and grow an alien. But it's the same way aliens grow. And they need the vat, and they put them in a sack, and then they hatch their little, whatever you want to call them. Go ahead, Tina, sorry.
No, what I was going to say was is linked to that. So, like you just said, they've got all this like technology and all this and that, and people coming forward in that, and military people finding things. Does this now mean then that every government in the world is going to review evidence, photographs, tests, subjects, bones, and articles from the last 100 to 1,000 years? Because when people like either Leonardo da Vinci or presidents or people say they've been seeing UFOs, they've captured pictures, or they have cave paintings, or they have bones, or mainly photographs and video footage. All these people they called liars, and it's suspect, it's this, this, and this, and it wasn't. Are they going to get apologies? Are their evidence going to be re-reviewed? Because now they know it is real. What's going to happen now? What's filling that gap?
Tina, I just want to say this. Ancient Aliens has been on TV 15 years. 15 years. And if you pull up the show tomorrow, guess what's going to be on it? What they think a pyramid is, where it came from, and who built it. And there's hieroglyphics of aliens and ships, and it was in the Bible. It was the same stuff they said 15 years ago. And those people are going around the United States lecturing, and people paying big money to hear them and see them. I said, I'd pay money to hear a real fact coming out that was real. I can tell the difference between lies and stories. I know Tina can. I know most people that have been around and saw an alien, saw a UFO, and been involved with any of that know how to tell the difference between a storyteller. Now, Bud Hopkins came out when he helped FEMA, not FEMA, the UFO group, what do you call it, MUFON, create their group. He told them how to determine if a person's been abducted or just making it up. Like, he knows, really, people have nothing to do but make a story up of being abducted. I'm not saying 1 out of a million could have.
One day, they will be able to enter or record or see for themselves what's in this link, in this alien link that they communicate with each other with. And every single person that's been abducted is in that link. So, but that'd be very interesting to see that, to see what becomes of that and that information.
I mean, one person, Peter Moon, he's got a couple books out. One of my friends loved his stuff, but he claims he deals with a guy in Tasmania or Transylvania, one or the other, and they got a pyramid, and they went inside that pyramid, and they found a couple different things. These discs that you spin, and they play music, and they found this machine that tells you what race you are. And on top of that, they found these underground tunnels that go from there up to Mount Shasta, to the mountains in New Jersey, and they go to like 4 places on the planet. Again, I can't prove it. I don't know if I believe any of it. But again, he has his books out there, and everybody listens to him, believes it. If it was true, people should know what race they're from, at least, if it was real. Why would you hide that? I mean, people want to know trace their heritage, which I did. I paid the money and I did it. But to know what race you're from, I mean, people should know that too. But again, right now, we're here, we're in this body, and we can't survive because we can't get along. We'd rather kill and destroy and fight than make peace and balance and create good things. We haven't created one good thing in the past 50 years. And that's scary because all we do is create, the way I describe it, men create toys and bigger toys and more expensive toys. That's all they care about. Whatever it is has to be bigger, better, and faster. And that's it. If it's a bomb, it has to be bigger and stronger. If it's a ship, it has to move faster. Everything is just a toy to mankind, and they want to make it better. But it's not about making themselves better as a person, as a human, as a person living on a planet with a bunch of other humans. It's so sad. And sadly, most religions don't deal with it at any level. Oh, I believe in Jesus, I'm a good person. Really? Or I'm a Buddhist, or I'm a Muslim. Yeah, and now what? What are you doing for mankind? You still watch children get abused, still don't help to stop it, you don't have any idea about it or care. Uh, it's sick, pathetic. I am so burnt out about that. Being here I'm 70 years old and being involved with the UFO world since I was 6. And it never changed. It never got better. There was never a really good story. Ever. And when people go, well, oh, yeah, I went to Venus and we ate, and we went to Mars and we ate, and then we went to some other planet looked just like Earth, and on and on and on. You know, it's easy to project an image in a person's mind. It's called mass hypnosis, but I call it the power of suggestion. And I used to do it when I was little. When I was into hypnosis, I brought a whole bunch of people to a cemetery, and there was this statue in front of it. And I told them all, I said, the statue comes alive, just watch it for a few minutes. And everybody saw the statue moving and everybody ran away. So it's easy. And I mean, the hypnotist that I learned from was Kreskin. And he said Hitler used power of suggestion to control a whole country. What aliens can do when they can actually go inside your mind and everything else,
Yeah.
people don't want to relate to that. Oh, no, but you
They don't
will.
like the horror. Psychologically, deep down, they don't want to face the true horror of abduction.
No, or they shouldn't. Do you want to bring that thing out now, Tina, or no?
Yeah. So each
All right,
week,
people. This is something that I made Tina do a long time
he
ago.
did. So I've got to blame Tommy for this. So I was losing like nails and problems with skin and all this and that, and losing hair. And Tommy said, you want to get a Geiger counter? Well, they're really, really expensive on the internet. But I got this thing called electrical magnetic radiation tester. Tommy has one in Hawaii, and I have one here in the UK. This is my second one. I dropped the first one about a year or 2 years ago in the tea or water or whatever it was. Okay, so there it is. There's the back. Same as Tommy. Bought it on Amazon for about £18. So I'm just going to turn it on there like Tommy's. Now at the top there, you will see volts per meter. And on the bottom there, you will see micro testers. Normally this reads 0. For some reason lately, it's not. I have a screen. Tommy, just hold yours back a little bit. Only a little bit. No, put it up, but hold it back. So Tommy doesn't have, there you go. Tommy, a bit closer, there you go. So Tommy has a smart screen. I have a smart screen TV, Tommy doesn't. So his is reading 31, 27, 22. Mine reads 2. It should normally read 0. Now when we put this, so we put it to your head and see what happens. So nothing. He's got no radiation, no volts per meter, nothing. Now I am going to just put this. There is that. Just going to put this to my head.
You know, something really bizarre.
Yes, volts per meter. So just to remind people, when it flashes red, that's actually harmful. And look at, there you go.
Yeah, mine says harmful.
So it's harmful. So when it beeps red, let's go up.
Mine's up to 240 on the top.
So the red is harmful. So when I put my hand on it.
But mine when I used to take my Geiger counter and put it over Tina's face, the bottom part would go off. It's not doing it today. It does it once in a while, which is impossible. But I can't get nobody in government or anybody concerned or interested about that. And I told Tina, I said, she's lucky to be alive. She has all the symptoms of radiation poisoning, all of them, not just one.
So I'm just going to turn it off there. Once it goes down 0, look, there you go. And I'm going to just turn off there. And that's how you do it. Turn it off there, turn it on. That's it. It's electrical magnetic radiation tester. Get yours on Amazon. Test yourself. Test your screen.
Yeah, get one.
Test your
It'll help you when you walk the neighborhood.
And it do work. Guys, I mean,
we're not doing this for fun. Seriously.
Something as simple as this is a scientific test.
I was worried when I first had Tina. When I first had Tina on, I was worried about her. And I said, you need to get a Geiger counter. And I got one. And then we started doing this every show we do.
Yeah.
I mean, once in a while she's really low. But most of the time it goes up and down, which is not normal. It's impossible for radiation to do that. So people, if you know any scientists that are interested in finding out something new that the government doesn't even know, get in touch with us. Because Tina's active in the UFO world. She'll be going around the world soon, hopefully. And then people might be able to get to see her. At that time, get your own Geiger counter and come out and visit us.
Join the club. Save yourself.
We're not trying to create false stories or make you believe in things that don't exist. We do it facts. I do it facts only, people. Everything I did in my life, I had to prove it to myself. Good, bad, or indifferent. Not that I found anything good, but in general, proving it. Proving what's right and wrong in the spiritual world, the physical world, and what we do. Tina's not a person going out hurting people and things like that. She doesn't deserve what she's getting right now. All right, at least in this lifetime. But people get what they deserve when they leave this world. But aliens are part of that as well now. Barbara Messiniak put out a book a long time ago. She was working with a race and said that they abduct people when they die and their soul leaves, which is another possibility, which is real.
We don't understand enough about death as a human, as a species, as a race. We don't understand enough about it. We don't know all the research into entering this world, but not into leaving this world.
Tina, I'm going to give you some time. Why don't you just talk about your books and stuff, okay?
Yeah. So, guys, I have 3 books out. One's called The Checkpoint. I don't have a copy of that here because I've sold them out. Second one, this one is a brilliant book. I'm going to read. I've not only did I write this, I'm writing part 2. But I pick it up and read it every now and then again, and I do love it as a good story. This is just a fantasy book. When I had my hysterectomy, I just sat down there and just typed, and I pick it up every now and then. Didn't go do it. It took many years, over many years. And it's absolutely brilliant, and I love it. It's a good story, but it's £10. Size it is £10. Fantastic, and wait to get to the end. So that's brilliant. And this one here is called The Bonded: The Truth About Alien Abduction. That's me, T.A. Bird, and graphics were done by Anna Lee Bird, and fantastic, aren't they? And there's my logo, my paid-for logo, by the way. And it contains literally this book here. I called it The Bonded because it's something that when I was taken, it was something that they wanted or needed from me. Not something I wanted to give, but something they needed. So I call this book The Bonded, not for that reason. It's not a sexual reason or anything like that. It's just the human bond and something they wanted for us, for the hybrid children that they've made. It contains a little bit about me. It contains a write-up. It contains my lead investigator's statement. And I've tried to keep each account into this one is like the conveyor belt where I saw other humans. So each time they've taken me and it's just based on what I can remember. So what I've come out, what I remember, in bits about internal damage, partners abduction, joint abduction, and I'll put that in closing as well. Keep looking up So this is just purely factual book about my account. So it's called The Bonded, The Truth About Alien Abduction. It's 10 quid on Amazon. If you've got a Kindle, it's less than that, I think, or it could be 10 quid. I think it's less than that, I'm not sure. But if you're on Amazon Unlimited, it's absolutely free. Just to let you know, it's absolutely free. And on that note as well, Amazon put me in for a storytelling award for my book. They told me that it qualified, this book. And they recently wrote to me, said that the competition was now over, and I've been pre-selected or selected as one of the shortlisters. Perhaps millions of other people have, I don't know. But I'm so proud of myself. I thought I'd let you all know that. I'm trying to look for my bit of paper where they said that I'd actually got it. But yeah, so I'm just looking forward to. I think that notice is going to go out on the 27th at 7 p.m. the awards time notice. So I'm going to be on a Zoom call for that. Probably won't get it, but you never know. So please get that. My other book's called The Checkpoint. This is I'm going to take off all. This is The Checkpoint. It's a saucy book. I wrote. There you go. The Checkpoint by T.A. Bird. There's me, picture on the back. There you go. And I've just wrote part 2 to that. It's going to be. I'm going to amalgamate it into one book. So it'll be 2 short stories in one book, which will be a good thing. And then part 2 is called The Two-Edged Sword, and that's going to come out soon. Perfect Christmas present. It'll be called The Checkpoint and The Two-Edged Sword is part 2. You can pick up the Bonded, The Truth About Alien Abduction. Everybody should read that. Every human being should need that. If you got Kindle Unlimited, it's free. Get it for free. Read it for free while you can. If not, it's 10 quid. And it costs you that for a packet of cigarettes. I mean, 4 bottles of milk, it costs you 4 bottles. So, it's nothing. But this is a brilliant, if you get a chance to read this, I absolutely love this. So the characters are great in it. I'll write in part 2. I might break this down into 2 books so people get one read. I'll leave it at a good point, but the end is leave a very suspenseful end. But yeah, people have asked me. I've had some feedback already from my books. This had 5-star review on Amazon. Entered into competition. I became an international author again with this book. So thank you very much to people that left a review and bought my book in America and other countries or in the UK. So thank you. But they've asked me to write a forward to this book, but I might do one. It was not a nightmare. I'm a very technical person, but to get this book out has taken some years. Couldn't get it any smaller. I had lots of problems and issues, as you all know. But I might just put one out of pictures and my factual evidence that I have, medical reports and photographs and other things. But so I'm looking into that. I'm writing a couple of other books as well along the way. But for me, this was nearly 50 years in the making, guys. I'm 52 now, so 50 years in the making. A bit of history, but it should be asked. People should be asking questions. You should always ask questions. I encourage you to ask questions. Check things out for yourself. Go and find these, because this is happening. It's happened to me, and I've seen hundreds of people out there. We should be more concerned about what's happening to our brothers and sisters and the rest of the human race. We live on this planet together. But Tommy has put his email up there somewhere. There you go. It's at 8:04. You can see that he put his email up. But you can contact me. There it is. It's Bird Books. There you go. And that is international author T.A. Bird. So it's t.a.bird@hotmail.com. Please email me if you have any questions, anything else you'd like to interview us. Or Tommy as Hawksblood1@aol.com. That's up on the screen. And you come on. We'll interview you. We'll speak to you. We'll review your book. And we'll catch up with any local news going on or any world news. But with that, I'm going to say bye when Tommy comes back. But please, any of the books, guys, even Richie, I hope you've bought all 3 of my books. But guys, pick this, especially this one. This is brilliant, very good read. Engage you, keep it. But this is the one everybody should read. If you got a Kindle, lots of people I know have Kindles. Get it for free on Kindle Unlimited. Won't cost you a penny. Free on Kindle Unlimited. Again, guys, it's £10 in book form, and you can buy it on Kindle as well as Kindle Unlimited, as is this and my other books. But with that, I'm going to say au revoir, good night. And I'm having another hot flush. I do apologise. Tommy, I'll see you next week. I'm going to look up some bits and pieces for next week's show, and I'm just looking at the chart, see what's actually gone. Look forward to next week's show. Until then, please keep looking up. That's Tina Bird here in Southampton for the UK for Encounters. I'm on TA Bird on Facebook. Please follow me. Like, subscribe, share. I want followers. TA Bird on Facebook. And of course, I'm Encounters on YouTube. So please keep looking at that, guys. Until next week, I'll see you all then, and Tommy from Southampton.
All right, Tina. Love and light. Try to
Bye
stay
bye.
healthy.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye-bye, Tina. Tina's such a great person, going through more than most people will in their life, and really bizarre stuff that most people will never go through. But people, I want people to come out. Anybody that knows anybody or hears anybody that says they've been abducted and willing to talk about it, we'll bring them on. They don't have to say their real name or keep their face blocked out, whatever. But we need people to put this story out there. People need to know what's really going on. And there's nothing good going on in the UFO world. Nothing, people. More people are getting abducted. Taken means they're taken and not brought back. Abducted means they're taken and brought back. So people that are being taken are a big thing in the United States alone. In all the state parks, they're not talking about how many people disappear now, which they should be forced to. All right. When there's a war, nobody knows how many people get taken. All right. And I'll tell you, lots of people do. All right. Now, I don't go into spiritual things for major reasons because Tina's not into it at all. She doesn't believe she's getting any help from anybody, God, spirit, angels, or that, or the government, which she's not. All right. Not now, not in her lifetime. So my books that I put out are on the spiritual side. I haven't written a book on UFOs in general or aliens. I have a PDF file which I will give to people if they want to know how to see a UFO for free. Just email me. I guarantee if you read it, do what it says, you'll see a UFO real fast. But what I did want to talk about now is disclosure. Tina said it happened a long time ago. It did happen a long time ago. It happened when Truman created MJ-12, when they were dealing with aliens and UFOs way back then. Eisenhower had to follow through and was dealing with the same thing. But MJ-12, people, is beyond our government, beyond the president. I mean, if you watch Men in Black or whatever, the movie and stuff, oh, the president only has the right to know in a need-to-know situation. Well, it's more than that. They don't get the information. If you think Biden has a clue what's really going on, guess again. Trump, he was faced by Putin directly. Whether he will do what Putin asked him to do if he gets reelected. Putin said, if you don't take care of this problem, I will make sure that the world knows. And he was talking about 9/11. And then he wanted Mr. Trump to come out and tell what's really going on with aliens. Yes, there's all kinds of bodies coming out now, people. There was a big find, and it's been going on for a couple years, of artifacts, hundreds and hundreds every month. Well, not every month, every other month. They've been pulling them out and pulling them out and pulling them out. Prove and explain gray history, proves what they look like, what they do, their ships and everything. Close-ups of their head. I saw a pipe made out of an alien head. Oh, I wanted it so bad, but it was so much money because they were selling it to keep getting the money to fund them to dig and all that. They won't say where it is, but a friend of mine is actually invited to go when they start digging again. But she got a museum herself of so many artifacts from it. People, what I want to get into is disclosure. What does it mean? What did it mean? What does it mean? And what will it mean? Well, it means we know aliens are here. It happened a long time ago. So disclosure is not going to happen. It already did. Now, with Mr. Greer, people, to me, is the most dangerous, evil person in the UFO world. And we'll go into that. Why? First off, he's a liar. Sorry, Mr. Greer. You're the biggest liar I know. And to do it mainstream, all right, he has no clue what he's talking about. Oh, he saw a UFO and somebody texted me. Well, he was abducted. Well, if he's abducted, he's more programmed than ever. But here's the thing. When he came out years ago, I was lecturing from 96 to 2002. And he was just coming out mainstream and stuff like that. But he wasn't at any of the conferences and things like that, speaking and all that. But I don't know if you know the name Almeen Barton, famous person. She deals with the Melchizedek teachings. Her friend, who I was really good friends with, made friends with, was her bodyguard. And he spent time researching Mr. Greer. He went to the hospitals that Stephen Greer said he worked at. He searched out everything that Stephen Greer said. He couldn't find any of it provable at that time. And I'm talking in 97. All right. So he claims to be a doctor. And then he claimed to be a man in the UFO world, created the Disclosure Project and making money. Who's paying him money? Now it's all the foolish people that pay him any money. All right. What he's coming out with is lie after lie after lie. Well, anybody could see a UFO. Anybody, anytime. All right. But when he claims that they're good, that all aliens are good, did he meet every alien? Even Putin, live on Russian TV, said 2 alien races want to destroy the planet. Putin himself. And he told that to Trump. And the day after Trump met him, he created the space army. Really? All right? So when Mr. Greer goes on about good aliens and that he takes people out meditate and they see ships and aliens aren't good. They could read people's minds. So yeah, they come when people put their attention on them. If they could reprogram them, seriously. We'll get into the abduction part in a little bit. But okay, when he goes and brings his people out to meditate, to talk to aliens, what do they say? Did one person ever come out with one important statement? Billy Myers said he worked with the Pleiadians for how many years? And he was the top in the UFO world, showing videos of the UFO going around a circle and things like that. Most of it was faked. Michael Horn, who I had on the show, and we had a lot of people following us, but I challenged him and he jumped off the show. He was afraid because I was calling him a liar to his face. If he wasn't a liar, he wouldn't have jumped off the show, would he? But people, the truth is out there. And we got these people programmed, trying to teach us and program us that it's a good thing. So Mr. Greer brings these people out meditating. Oh, talk to aliens. Not one of those people came out with anything important ever. To make it worse, and I only found this out maybe a month ago, up in mountain in Tibet, there's a temple where these people meet, they get into meditation, and they try to communicate with aliens. The only thing that was said that came out of it, they were told about a disaster that was going to happen. Didn't save anybody, didn't change anything. And that's all they got out of talking to aliens? And they sit there in a meditative state for hours every day and all this stuff. It's a secret movement. The film crew got invited, especially, had to go through checkpoints and all kinds of stuff to get in. To listen to that they have no proof, they can't say anything important. Well, if aliens were good, if you're a good person, you do good things. Don't you think so? Do good people go out and beat up, kill, rape, steal, and rob and all those kind of things? Do they? No. All right. So if they were good, they'd be helping us in any way. And they don't help us in any way. They don't help us. All right. So with that being said, aliens are good. Prove it, which you can't. Never did anything positive. I did a conference. One person said, "Oh yeah, I was pulled out of my car in a car crash. An alien pulled me out." He said the Nordic did. I challenged him in the middle of a conference. I said, "What else did they do for you?" Well, he could say, "Well, they did many things for me." After he spoke and we met, we talked. Tell me one other thing else. Well, they just do everything. I said, "What's everything?" He couldn't say anything else other than pull him out of the car when it crashed. You know, Satan, demons, whatever. They will do something to win you over. That's how they get you. Well, Satan will say, hey, what do you want? I'll give you anything you want. Oh, I want a couple $1 million. Okay. Like Bob Dylan said, he sold his soul to the devil, and every song he did after that went to gold. No matter whether he sang it or he gave it somebody else to sing. That's online even. And he said a couple other rock stars did as well. Oh, well, I don't believe that. Well, funny how every album, every song went to gold. But Satan will give you what you want. Why would Satan do that? Because he wants to keep people on and in planet Earth. If we all left planet Earth, he would be stuck here by himself, wouldn't he? And his army, and that would be useless. So obviously their goal is to keep us here. Hell, planet Earth, is here for a reason. It's to reform soul. Soul comes down void to planet Earth. And they're given a body, given a brain and everything to use and run and all that. But there's a mission why soul does come here. How many people have a clue what it is? None. None that I meet. Well, there's one religion that teaches certain things. They got part of the principles. But guess what? The founder of Eckankar worked with Alnek, or whatever. She's a Venusian. At least she says she is. She said she came here at 6 years old from Venus. And she worked with him to create a religion called Eckankar. All right? They have parts of the truth. I wanted to meet with her and everything, and she wanted money, and I said, I'm not going to pay $50 to sit down and talk to her, which I should have at that time. But then I dealt with her spokesperson, and I said, ask her a few questions. She has no clue who Jesus was. Well, they think he was an alien. Here's a race from Venus talking about all this stuff, telling about death and reincarnation and traveling the inner worlds and all that, and has no clue about Jesus. All right? Well, Jesus taught a lot of things that are much more important than what's ever in the Bible. But in the interim of all that, she's quite old. She doesn't do any miracles, doesn't do anything incredible except talk. All right? She died. She was dying for almost a year. But she does a lot of work at Mount Shasta. So, again, I say I listen to people. I wait for them to say something important. Important. Not stories. Many people can tell stories. All right. Are they important to the human race? No. Billy Myers came out with about 100 prophecies. I think 89 came true. But it did not help one thing. I know a few psychics, two in particular, that actually talked about 9/11 1 year before it happened, in detail, one of them. And it happened. But see, I harassed that, my friend, for a long time. If you're going to prophesy something and you know it's going to happen, what do you think you should do? At least be in front of it. If you knew the Trade Center was going to be bombed, explode, whatever, you should be out in front of it telling people not to go in. If you cared, if you believed it and understood what you were prophesying. When Adam and Eve is a fake story, but when you got Noah's Ark, he was guided, he was given information. He had the choice to do something or not. If he did not, the world would be different. But he listened, and he was considered a fool. Then you got the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. He listened, his wife didn't. So people, when an angel gives you a prophecy, it's for you to do something about it. When an alien gives you a prophecy, it's useless. It's to make you think they're powerful or super powerful or anything other than, truthfully, not beneficial to you in any way. If you know that you're going to die on a train tomorrow, and no matter what you do, you couldn't stop it, what would you do today? Fly to a jungle and stay there because you couldn't get on a train? What would you do? See, most prophecies have to happen, depending who brings them. If somebody has a bad dream, has a prophecy, puts it out there, guess what? It doesn't have to happen. And it probably won't. But when an angel comes down and gives you information, you have to follow it. Or a spirit guide. Nobody talks about those words. Oh, I met with aliens. I met with aliens. How about you met with Satan? Satan can change form, all right? So could his army. To be whatever you want. The Nordics are bad entities. They travel with the reptilians, whether you want to know that or not. They're on their ships with them as well. They appear to people, and people think they're angels or Jesus or whatever. Because they're tall, they're white, and they've got blue eyes. Oh, well, they have to be good. See, people accept images. Jesus wasn't white. Jesus didn't have blue eyes. Sorry, people. And God was never he or she. Why is it called he? All these things that man perverts and twists to fit into his own sheltered ego, for a word, his controlled ego, whatever. But back to Stephen Greer. When he gets more and more people to believe talking to aliens is beneficial, what do you think is going to happen? He's building a giant center and all that. Why would he do that? Why would the government let him? Well, it's easy to program people that are programmed. Did you know that? I can't be hypnotized. If you can be hypnotized, I can hypnotize you to do anything. I did it half of my life. I had every friend in my neighborhood hypnotized with a certain word. I just had to say it 3 times and they were completely in my place to tell them to do whatever I wanted them to do. Anything, period. I tried to prove it to my brother. He goes, oh, that's all set up. That's make-believe. No, it's not. Kreskin, I was with Kreskin when I was 12. And then I worked with an army hypnotist when I was 16. And he explained me a lot more details about hypnosis and how it works. Because he was in the army proving that through hypnosis you can program somebody to shoot their brother, their father, their son, whatever. You reprogram their thinking and they'll do whatever, even though it's real, they think it's something else. I mean, when people start going crazy, well, I was working with Parkinson and dementia, 2 people. And the woman would get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. There's somebody in my bed. What house? I'm in a space house. Get me out of here. And she's going out into the snow in a silk gown and stuff. 3 o'clock in the morning. I had to deal with that for a year. But, when you listen to people that believe something, and how does dementia happen? Is it a natural thing? The brain gets screwed up and it's like short-circuited and things like that. But people, it's easy to program a person. Aliens program everybody they abduct. Very few souls can get out of that. Tina's one of the very lucky ones. Travis Walton he was lucky. He remembered a lot. When you got Corey Good, they show me videos of the past, present, and future. Well, guess what? He's just a victim of a program. He said the world was going to be destroyed, 2 years ago already? So people, George Cavalassius from Australia, I liked him when he first came out. But he came out and said the aliens told him the world was going to be destroyed in a year. Never happened. Aliens tell us what they want. They feed us what they want. Now, to make that worse, Tim likes, I'll keep with Stephen Greer. But do you know what time travel is? It's real. You don't have to believe me. Also, I'm going to tell you that it is real. Somebody likes to crack jokes in the chat room. Funny. Hold on, I got noise. Sorry about that. All right. Well, it's easy to program people. And when we get into the point when somebody's going through this stuff, it's easy to give them a different direction, different proof in their own mind. Like George Cavalassius, when he said he was working with a race and they're a good race and they're this, that, and the other thing. He went out to see the Ysetti Ranch, and he was going to be with James Gillen for the weekend. I texted him. I said, look, you better protect yourself because you're opening yourself to really bad things. Sure enough, he went out there. He changed completely. And I think you don't hear much about him now anymore either. But I got to meet James Gillen personally. And we had a big debate face to face. Because, oh, you're coming from the bad side. I'm coming from the good side. The problem is there is no good side. Oh, there's bad and good. No, it's bad. We're destroying the planet. It's bad. There's no good side of what we're doing. Period, people. We're still beating, killing, and violence, and we love to see violence. All that. It's not changing. So, yeah, I got into a big debate with James Gillen. He had his people texting me, calling me names, saying this, that, and the other thing. I don't care. I know the truth. They don't. Greer goes, well, you come on my property. Not Greer. Gillen. They got to sign a paper saying that whatever they film is his and all that. He's such an evil little person, too. Now, getting back to Stephen Greer, who is trying to get people to believe aliens are good, that we need to talk to them. Why? Did he prove one thing important yet? Of course not. He can't. Aliens aren't going to do anything good for us. But watch the movie V. They did good things for a while. They convinced people they were going to heal them, make them better, give them better jobs, and all that, while they were creating a place to hatch their family. All right. Same thing with Tina on her ship. She has all her children up there. They're in pods right now, but she can communicate with them. And the aliens don't like it. And they don't know why she can do that. And that's why I told her, I think they're keeping her alive for that reason. All right. But that's in her story. I hope she, I got a book. I only read part of it. It's easy to read. I'm just so busy. I haven't gotten to the ocean in years, and I'm a half a mile away from it. I see it every day, but I don't get to go in it or nothing. People, Mr. Greer comes out with these great stories and everything. But what is he doing? All he's trying to do is attack the United States government. Now, I try to perceive it from the government side. Why would they let him come out and attack the government? Well, the government wants to do certain things, and they do it in their own way. Sure, they want to admit that UFOs are real, but they don't want the whole world to be afraid. Or what if you know aliens are going to come and abduct you if you go to a state park? How many people would go to the state park? And those kind of things. Oh, they can't stop you from getting abducted. Do people really want to know that? Does the government want to tell people they allowed the alien races to do that for a while? And now they can't stop them? People, it's not cut and dry. But Stephen Greer comes out with one of the biggest lies I ever heard in my life. He said they offered him, this is a quote from his stupid little mouth, big mouth, he was offered $3 billion from the government. Not millions, $3 billion to walk away from the UFO world. Really? His ego has to be how big to think that he would be valued at $3 billion. He's not valued at $300. The government wouldn't spend $3 million to kill him, never mind $3 billion to have him disappear. They could have him disappear for nothing, because I know people directly. And a really famous person that worked in the Army had to take out 44 people for the government. Another person that I worked with when I did the show with for a long time, her husband took out 139 people for the government. And it was their job. They wouldn't get paid big bucks. If you heard the story of the confession from one of the people that said he was involved with 3 of the people that killed John Kennedy. All right, on his dying bed. People, you can believe what you want. Go to these conferences, listen to the stories. They got all kinds of different kind of people, the healers, psychics, readers, and you name it. What's it have to do with aliens? Aliens don't make people better. People that become psychics are delusional. Nobody's God. Nobody can be God. Jesus never said he was God. But nobody on this planet can prove they have the 32 psychic abilities that Jesus had. Not one person. They can't even prove that the one ability they have is even like 100% usable. Like being able to predict 1 minute into the future, not 100 years into the future, 1 minute. If you can predict 1 minute into the future, you can be the richest person on the planet in a very short time. Go to a casino, put start with $100, put it on a number. Put 10,000 on the number. Put $1 million on the number. There's a casino. In the casino, you have to go into the classrooms where you can put millions down. You can take all the money from every casino within a short period of time. I'm sure they try to assassinate you and everything else along the way, but I can tell you how bad that is. I was a magician half of my life. A white magician and a stage magician. But I met a person, gets paid $25,000 to go into a game and stuff to see if somebody is a fake or robbing a casino, which he does. And what he could do with cards was no other magician could even. So there's people out there that can tell you the truth versus the lies. Stephen Greer works with all these people, brainwashing them, programming them, and they believe them. Aliens have nothing to offer us. If they did, if they were good, you don't think they would stop us from polluting the planet, destroying our food, destroying our air, destroying our ground, never mind killing each other? If you never saw the original The Day the Earth Stood Still, watch it. If it was a good alien race, that's exactly how it would go down. I'm telling you, watch it. Now, if God wanted to control us, you don't think it would be easy for it to just stamp on a planet and say, you do this tomorrow or the world gets destroyed? Plain and simple. But that's not why we're here. Soul has to grow. But it's not going to grow listening to Stephen Greer being programmed by aliens. They're stuck here. They've been here so much longer than the human race, and they're still here playing with people, nothing else better to do. Well, when you leave your body, you start off with astral projection and go into soul travel and start seeing real reality and things beyond this reality. It only gets better. So why would soul stay here? Because it's programmed and it accepts the program. And the mind and soul aren't the same. And Buddhism believes in the opposite. But I'm with a Buddhist. So yeah, I understand the difference, but they believe. Buddha didn't believe in God. New Age people believe in the universe. They don't believe in God. So a lot of races don't even understand God. And the people that say they believe in God don't understand what it is. God's not sitting in a chair up there watching down. Oh, there's a car coming. They're going to hit him. I'll stop the car. Oh, because everybody's having serious problems every day. When God talked about protection, it was protecting soul. Your soul's not going to die no matter what you do. But you're never going to get out of hell, meaning here, to get into the higher worlds of God. Aliens cannot do that, people. They don't have feelings and emotions enough to even move forward. I will tell you this, and nobody else in the UFO world can say it in any vaguely provable way in their own mind. They're reincarnating into humans. Soul moves forward. Wherever it starts, it keeps trying to move forward. Sure, it becomes a mass killer and stays there for maybe never move forward. Most souls try to move forward, even though it's little teeny steps every lifetime. But when people say, well, I'm an alien or I'm this or that, yeah, probably were. I was an alien over 300 lifetimes ago. When I first came down into this realm, I know what race I was, where I was, and then the next time I was born as a human. All right, people, I don't want to go on about Mr. Greer because he's the biggest bull story I ever heard. Brainwashing, programming people. I don't know how long the government's going to let him go on. Maybe forever. Because if he gets everybody programmed to talk to aliens, now, here's the thing nobody else ever said that I know. The Galactic Confederation, the Ashtar Command. I know they're not going to want to hear it because there's millions and millions of people following it. It's a program. Everything they ever said never came true. Every time they're going to meet with the ship, and the ship's going to come down and take people, all that. Nothing ever happened. But they all met the Ashtar. They went on the Galactic Federation. Famous people in the UFO world telling people to get on the Galactic Confederation ship is another ridiculous place to go. People, you might not understand that now. Maybe someday you will. But the Galactic Confederation is also not doing anything positive in any way, even if you believe it's a real race and a real entity and all that. AI is a real entity as well. It's not the kind of entity you would assume or realize, but you will soon. You'll understand why aliens created it. All right, see, all this is way beyond what you want to hear. I'm sorry. I can only tell you the truth. You don't have to believe me. In this lifetime, next one, or the one after that, you might understand or realize I told you something important. Maybe you never will. You'll just keep reincarnating. I told somebody, you can do whatever you want and come back and do it all over again. And you know what the pathetic statement was? I mean, I could go out and rape all the women I want and come back and do it again. Sick people, sick minds, because they're not aware of the truth. Karma. You create karma or you can remove karma. And you have the choice every second you breathe, think, and move. And it's up to you to change it for the better or the worse. Mankind doesn't change it for the better. Drinking, smoking, drugs don't make it better. It doesn't help you make it better. Religions don't help you make it better. They feed you more lies than anybody else, program you from you're a child. Think about when the first race created, which was Hinduism, they were worshiping deities. Deities are real entities as well. They were put down here by God. But why? Well, man had to start evolving, and cavemen and all those kind of creatures weren't doing anything, and we didn't come from them. But they didn't evolve. Or evolve. Why did the human race never change in 100,000 years? 2 eyes, 1 nose, 1 mouth, 10 fingers, 10 toes. Everything's the same. Our abilities and strength change because we work harder at different things. But we don't change. We're not growing ears that grow out like this. We're not growing tails and wings and everything else. But cloning could create all that and change all that. And China, Japan, other countries are already playing games. The United States did that years ago, and they probably still are. I know where 3 or 4 super soldiers came out of New Jersey. 8-foot beings. The government created. In Picatinny Arsenal in New Jersey. All right. The last thing I'll be saying is like Mr. Greer is trying to change the world for the worse. Why? Maybe he never had a really good relationship. Maybe his relationship's really lousy. Maybe he doesn't understand love at any level. Compassion for people, life, the world, exposing government work. They've been fighting with aliens for years. I wish I could call them every name under the sun. I wish I could call them all those names. The United States and Russia have been fighting with aliens for a very long time. Just because they don't tell you doesn't mean it's not going on. Well, I don't know. Well, think about it. If they were dealing with aliens in the 1940s, late 40s, that was how long ago? 50 years? Everything changes super dramatically every 25 years. It's like we go to a supernova. And that's what happens. No TV cars, trains, spaceships, time travel. That takes it to a multi-different level altogether, and the government's there. People, it's not even close to where you can put your mind or understand about what the government's doing. And where's all that money come from? They spend $720 billion a year. Think about that. Who's paying that money? Where's it really come from? The United States doesn't have to prove they have money, do they really? Do they have to show the world how much gold they have? And how could they? Would they? No. All right, when it was backed on gold. Oh, well, we had to have some. When they brought people into the mint, they only showed one room, and they didn't let them analyze the gold or anything like that even. Under the Trade Center, all that gold was removed somewhere. Does anybody know the stories about that or anything? No. Why did things happen? Just because you don't know doesn't mean it's not happening. Doesn't mean it didn't happen. And it doesn't prove it didn't happen. People, the world's changing. And you're changing. But not for the better. Programs are becoming more real in your mind. Ideas are being programmed in your mind, taking you further and further away from the word God. Sorry. All right? Who do you pray to? What do you pray for? Better this, better. Does that happen? No. World peace. How many people? I'd say, 60% of the planet pray for world peace? Do you see anything changing? No. Prayers are delusional in this reality. Who are you praying to? If you don't know God, how could you pray to it? It's like praying to Superman, praying to Batman, or some entity, even Satnam or Jehovah, or people over there on my altar, Shiva, Durga, Kali, Queen Tara. All right, back to when the Hindu people worked with them. They got fed up playing with the human race. It was all sexual at that time anyway, still is. But they all left, and then the aliens came down. And they played God. They played God with the Mayans, the Aztecs, the Egyptians, and us. In their own way. The Aztecs were not spiritual. The Mayans were not spiritual. The Egyptians were anything but spiritual. Sacrifice means you have no understanding of God. All right? Abuse and all that kind of stuff, no understanding of karma. Meaning you're stuck in hell. Don't believe in Satan. Well, guess what? Deal with what you call what? Ego? Greetings. People, look, I've been doing the show an hour and a half, and I'm going to be cutting it off. But look, if you have questions, email me. I answer on my email, good, better, or indifferent. I'm not one person that fights it. People are at every level. From here to here. And it's not like everybody's at the same level. Nobody will ever be at the same level. Nobody ever leaves at the same level of awareness. And that means whether they reincarnate back here, go to the astral plane, or go to worlds beyond that. Very few souls go past the astral plane when they die. All right. Just because you go to church and everything else for all your life doesn't mean you're going to go to heaven. And then again, how long do you think you can stay in heaven? And do you want to stay in heaven? All right. I mean, I'll repeat what Jesus said many times. I was there, I'll tell you the truth, but it's in the Bible 3 times. It's easier for a camel to go through an eye of a needle than a rich person to get into heaven. Why would he say that? Because it's true. Money corrupts. It changes things, but not for the better, ever. Entertainment is better for most people. I mean, that's why they're stuck here. They like entertainment. But the cheap drills the body goes through is what more people want now than anything. Even to make sex last longer, really? What if you did it for 10 years straight? What do you think? It would be exciting 10 years later? People, we need change. But it's like going up a ladder or down a ladder. You either go up or you go down. There's no other place to go. Can't go forwards or backwards. You go up or down. Sinking more into the karma of this reality or getting rid of your karma to get out of it. Aliens aren't going to get out of their karma. That's why they have to reincarnate into humans, if they even get to that level. All these people say they're walk-ins and this, that, and the other thing. That's because they're programmed. Or they're hanging on to a past life. Most people, more than almost 80, 90% of the planet, are not aware of any of their past lives. Christians don't believe in it, so why would they even try to understand it? Buddhism does believe in reincarnation, but they don't believe in God. So, you take things that, when people take parts of things, it's like taking a puzzle. I give you 5 pieces of a puzzle, that's 10,000 pieces. What do you think you know about the puzzle? Nothing. So, I spent my whole life putting every piece of the puzzle together, and it all fits. Every single thing that's happening fits together in the puzzle. I still call it the Matrix, because people get into the Matrix and think this is the only thing that's important. The important thing is to realize you're in the Matrix and get out of it. Just like in a movie. Watch it 3 times in a row. The first one. And the old saying, which pill do you take when the song came out? Which pill you're going to take? Some pills make you smaller, some pills make you larger. Some pills don't do anything at all. But again, which pill would you take? Become larger? Men think everything bigger is better. Everything and anything bigger is better. Well, cassettes and tapes got big, and then they're getting smaller and smaller. You could get a 2 gigabyte this big now, instead of a box that was this big. So in reality, things are shrinking, but the thing that it's in is bigger. Like the technology of a computer is universal, where the old computers, we were very limited. So when they make a car, it's faster. When they make a plane, it travels higher and faster. When you make a rocket, it can go through different realms and stuff like that. Not realms, sorry. Different levels of our universe. But nothing is spiritual. Nothing man does is. We haven't created one spiritual thing in 100 years. And I could say we didn't create anything spiritual in 100,000 years. I mean, if you say Noah creating an ark was spiritual, it was probably the closest thing you could say doing something spiritual, because it changed reality of the planet. All right. Outside of things like that, corn. Toxic. All right, people. Look, I'll go on. You got any more questions about this? Stephen Greer, the great liar, storyteller, programmer, please text me, call me. I tell him if he ever grows a pair of balls, debate me live. I'll go to wherever he is if he would do a live debate in front of people. And I'm serious about that. I'll debate anybody on my show or offline if they want to. But they're all afraid. But I got Lou Alzonda to save me money. You know how I said, Lou, what are you afraid of? Aliens or the government? You know what his reply was? I'm not afraid of anything. I said, good, then talk to me. And then he started to. And then I said, look, would you come on my show? He said, yeah, I got to talk about certain things. I said, fine. So hopefully that'll happen soon. I'm going to get back to him. But he did say yes. I mean, I dealt with all the people from Skinwalker Ranch, ancient alien people. I wouldn't waste time on bringing them on my show because they have nothing to say. Nothing important. Pyramids are not important. Hieroglyphics were then, and they couldn't draw. It's amazing how they went from not being able to draw anything into drawing incredible reality now. All right. When they showed hieroglyphics of humans with animals, dinosaurs, that was real. When they showed Pegasus, and when they showed mermaids, that was all real too. But did we talk about that much? No. We see a UFO. That's real. So, Jesus talked about UFOs. If you want to know that. He didn't say UFOs, but he said flying objects. But see, why they put wings on everything? Because they didn't know how anything else could fly without wings at that time. The halo, They didn't know how to describe spiritual light around a person, so they put a halo around them. And Christianity accepted that as a really important thing, a halo around a person. I can go into all that stuff if you want to, but I do that on my religious shows, spiritual shows, whatever. Tina doesn't want to talk about spiritual things, so I will not talk about it on this show when she's on. People, have a good day. Enjoy yourself. Wish you the best. Have a good day, good night, wherever you are, whatever time it is. Tune in next Tuesday for this show, or I will be doing a more spiritual show during the week this week. All right. Till next time, from the Big Island of Hawaii.
Raise my eyes to the wild blue yonder. They can't believe what I see, and it makes me wonder why it's falling down on me. The sky, the sky, the sky. The sky